Hey, how's it going? It's Craig. I'm out in the garage, and today we're going to talk about a pinball cabinet that I picked up weeks ago. Let's take a look. Okay, so I'll keep this brief because there's a lot of footage in here that I've gathered from different days when I filmed, showing you the journey of this cabinet. It's had a bit of a rough life since I've had it. I picked it up from AlanJ off of Pinball Info a few weeks back. Me and my daughter went up to Leeds Uni for to have an open day. While I was in the area, I popped into Alan and picked up this cabinet and a playfield, an old EM playfield as well. I've stripped that down, which you'll see in the video. It's got some useful parts on there, so we'll be having a look at those, soaking them and getting them working again, hopefully. But yeah, it was just the cabinet was the main thing I wanted. Cabinet and legs, the lockdown bar, the sliders and everything else in there. It's just such a great element of the build that I haven't got to worry about now. I can focus on the playfield and the mechanisms and the code and the circuitry and everything else. So having that ready, it's sat in my living room at the moment. You'll see that in a little bit in the video, but that's got to come out here in the next week or so when I've made some room. So let me show you the clips to show you the journey so far, and then we'll do a wrap up at the end. Cool. Okay, so just jumped in the car. My pinball machine I picked up from Alan is down in my dad's storage garage, and as you can probably see from the weather, it's tipping down with rain. It's just had a 3-week, I think, heat wave, and now today is the first day of storms and everything. My dad's garage where he stores things is prone to flooding, so I'm going to nip down there and have a look at the setup, see where it's set, because if it's on the floor it's going to get wet, so I don't want the cabinet getting wet. So I'm going to see if I need to lift it up off the ground. I might even bring some parts back with me in the car and bring it up to the house. But yeah, let's go and have a look in the garage, see how wet it is in there. I don't want it getting damp anyway, so it's going to have to come up here at some point. I just need to find space for it, but for now it's going to have to stay there for the next day or two, and then I'll clear some room and bring it up to the house. Cool, catch you in a sec. Okay, so I'm on my way back to the house. There's no way I'm going to get in there, it's flooded. I would probably be up to my ankles already, if not higher, so there's no way I'm walking through that. It's going to be sewage and everything else in there, so I hope that cabinet's alright, because that's one of the biggest parts of the build for me sorted. Because if I can get that cabinet and it's running, let me turn this off, then, well, not running, I don't know what I mean by running, if I can get that cabinet filled, it's part of the build. It's the expensive part of plywood and everything else built there. And then I've got that populated playfield, which is old, but it's an EM type playfield, but there's loads of good parts on there. I'm gonna have to see how the weather goes tonight, see if that rain drains away, and then go down there tomorrow and see what the condition is, and if it's hopefully off the floor. Catch you in a bit. Stopped raining, so I'm walking back down to the garage now. Hopefully the water levels are dropped and I can get in there, maybe get some of the parts out of the way, get things lifted up off the floor, and just fingers crossed that cabinet's dry enough to bring it up to the house and dry out properly. So I'll take a look, see what it's like in there. Okay, so it's the next day. The weather is a lot better now. Totally dry. Hopefully the garage is nice and dry now and I can get stuff out of there. I'm going to need to move stuff because I can't stay there long term. It's just going to get damp and wrecked, so I'll have a look, measure things up, see where I can store it in the house, go from there. Bone dry in here now, so it's absolutely dry. Cabinet didn't get wet, which is good, so the water must have only just come in underneath that, so nothing got wet on here, which is great. I don't want this cabinet swelling at all, so I want to get it out of here because it's still really humid in here. So I'm going to get it in my garage as quick as I can because it's nice and dry in there, and I'll run a dehumidifier in there for a couple of days as well, just to suck any moisture out of it that's held in the wood at the moment. Okay, so inside the cabinet is this playfield. This is an extra freebie that Alan threw in for me, so really kind of him. The idea behind this is that I'm going to strip this down. You can see everything in here is rusty and a bit gross, so everything needs stripping down. Everything's going to need soaking, everything's seized up, and nothing's moving, but we might be able to salvage a couple of movable parts, a couple of switches. I don't know whether these optos and these coils are going to be strong enough, but we'll give them a go. We'll soak it, see what we can do, see what we can salvage out of it, even if it gives me a couple of mechanisms just to hold things in place while I'm working on other things. And I suppose it's worth just testing out on some old used parts before going and buying all new. So yeah, let's see what we can do with this. I don't know how far we'll be able to take it, but it's something to start off with, isn't it? Cool. Okay, so it's been a couple of days and everything is nice and dry down here now, so I'm going to try and get the pinball cabinet into the back of the Mini. I don't think it's going to fit, but we're going to have to try and bungee it in. There's some bungees and things here, so maybe we can bungee it in just to get it up the street. It's literally a couple hundred metres up the road. I haven't got a sack truck here, otherwise I'd have taken it on that, but I'm going to have to try and get it in the car, get it into the house somewhere, and then I'm going to move it and get it into the garage as soon as we can. Cool, wish me luck. Okay, so I managed to get both the cabinet and the playfield just about in. I can't shut the boot, but I'm literally going about 100 metres up the road, so let's try and get it up there in one piece. Hopefully I won't smash my boot or my windscreen or anything else when I'm going up there, but as long as I take it nice and easy, it should be alright. So fingers crossed, let's get it into the house. Okay, so nowhere at the garage at the moment, so I put it in the living room and it's next to my arcade cab for now. The wife's not really happy, but it's going to have to stay here until I can make room at the garage. If I twist this around, I'll give you a shot inside of it, see what is in there, because there's quite a few cables and a couple of parts that we can use, so let's have a look inside quickly and see what we can do. So inside of here, we've got, first of all, to note, you'll see it going everywhere, there's this yellow strap in. So that yellow strap is a grounding wire, an earth wire. This goes through the whole cabinet. You can see it running all down the outside, touching every bit of metal that's in here to ground it. Even connects to the legs when they're connected in place, which is cool. We've got the switches and everything for the buttons, which are on the outside. That's cool. This is a solenoid knocker, I think. It knocks when there's a special mode. Got a counter. According to this counter, I think there's only been 81 plays, so I think that's been reset at some point. This is quite cool. So this is a switch on the other side to turn the cabinet on and off. And these cables coming out of it, there's two different looms in here. This thinner cable and then this thicker cable. that thicker cable, I'm hoping I can salvage that. It's nice quality cable, and I'm hoping I can use that for the 230 voltage coming in here. There's a service outlet plug, US one I think, so we're going to swap that over and we'll put a UK service plug in here, because we'll have a couple of plugs in here for the PC and speakers and other things, and eventually it's even got the original connectors in here, which is pretty cool. So if anyone needs them, let me know, you can have them. It's got the rails in here, so the rails and the plates that go with them. So the playfield screws to this and then slides along this rail, and that's how you lift the playfield in and out of the cabinet. So that's pretty cool to have them here. All of this other wiring, so all this wiring here, that speaker will probably be replaced. All this other wiring is going to come out. I'll strip that out in a bit. Gives me something to do while it's in the house, so I'll strip all this out. Not going to need any of this cabling. I'll keep it as spares. It's in fairly decent condition, and it's got a load of connectors on there that I might be able to use, but I'll strip it all out, see what we can do with it. But the only one I'm intending to use is this thicker cable here for the 230 volt power. That'll come into the cabinet and go to the power supply and everything else. So I don't know what this is. I have no idea. It's got a couple of switches and things on there. I do not know what that does, so I have to try and figure that out as well. There's a thing on there, A9P3. I'll see what A9P3 connects to on the manual for Operation Thunder. But yeah, quite a few little things in here. Nice serviceable cabinet. It's in really good condition, so yeah, really chuffed with it. Next thing I'll do is try and start stripping it down and get it out the garage, ready to try and get a playfield to sit inside it. Cool. Load the cable coming out. Sausage Dog's going to see. And we're watching a bit of Haggis Pinball, just for a bit of inspiration. Cool. Okay, it's been about 2 weeks since that last video clip, and it's still in the living room, so my missus ain't too happy. I do need to get it out here, but at the moment it's still a tip and it's still full of crap everywhere. So the next thing I need to do is tidy this garage up. I'll tidy it up, move things around. Hopefully I can fit it in here then, and yeah, as soon as it's out here I can start working on it. I don't want to work on the cabinet too much until I'm a little bit further down, but it gives me space to put the playfield and have somewhere safe to put my parts inside of it whilst I'm building the rest of it. So it's huge, as I said, it's a huge chunk of the build that I haven't got to worry about. I'll be able to sand the artwork off, and I'll get some vinyl graphics for the theme once that's done. But the rest of it is in really good condition. The woodwork, despite being in the floods and everything down my garage, it hasn't swollen any part of it. I run the dehumidifier that I've got in the house in it for a while. Not directly inside of it because I didn't want it cracking from the sudden extraction of the water, but in the same room with it for a day or so. The legs I'll get blasted and powder coated once I know what colour, and the lockdown bar and the rails and everything, the glass slider, I'll get all them powder coated as well. So yeah, I've got another few things to be doing on this cabinet. It's just the start of the journey for it, but it's a huge step forward on this pinball build. Just to have that in the house ready for the build is a really cool thing. So hope you've enjoyed this. It's a little bit of a quick video just to show you what an idiot I can be sometimes, leaving it in a garage, and could have ruined the whole cabinet and lost the money that I spent on it, but all's good. We're in a good position, and yeah, to move on to the next part of the pinball build. Right, I'll catch you on the next one. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe down below, give the video a like, leave me a comment, and I'll catch you on the next one.